I'm Zac Distel, Curator for the Sons of the American Revolution, and we're here today to talk about how soldiers made ammunition during the Revolutionary War. So this is what they would have been making. This is a Revolutionary War era musket ball. This is what most firearms used during the Revolution. You did not have shaped projectiles yet, so you're making a very simple sphere. The first step in making that would be to melt down some lead. Musket balls during the Revolution were made out of lead, so whether you had a fire or a brazier or another type of heat source, you would use a ladle much like this one, and you'd melt lead down inside of it. You can see it has spouts on each side for pouring your lead out. And when you would go to pour the lead, you would put it into a mold, and these would range in different types of sophistication and materials. This would be one of your most basic types of mold. It's just made out of wood and soapstone. Soapstone was chosen because it was a very soft stone. It's easy to work with, it's easy to find, and it didn't have to be imported. You can see this just makes 3 musket balls, and it's just in a very simple wooden mold, probably homemade, used by a militiaman possibly. But you would have the mold like this, and on the top you'd have the open holes, and you would have your ladle with molten lead in it, and you would pour it in and make your musket balls. And all of these molds work in that same way, where you would pour molten lead in from the top and it would form the musket balls. So this is actually a solid soapstone bullet mold. This one's a little bit more difficult to make, and this one actually has a soldier's name on it who we're still researching and hoping to determine who that individual is. Soapstone was great to work with. It's easy to work, but it's also very fragile. You can see this one has broken into a few pieces, but it's still mostly intact. You can see this would make a number of musket balls for a small unit, possibly a company. This is a little bit more advanced bullet mold. It's actually made out of brass or bronze, and you can see it still has a handle attached. And this would open up like this, and you can see on the inside it would make 3 musket balls, and then there's also much smaller openings down here. This is for making what's called buck and ball. And this is essentially when you would shoot one large musket ball with shot in front of it. Think like a modern shotgun. This would make both types of ammunition you would need to shoot that. And this was popular with soldiers or militiamen who were using fowlers or hunting firearms during the Revolution. You can see this is a pretty small one. This would really be used by an individual or a couple of individuals working together. Moving on, this is a much larger, possibly for a company or even a regiment, iron bullet mold. This one probably dates to about 1770 to 1775, and it does have a number inscribed on the handle, so it was likely used in the Revolution. We're not sure by who, but you can see it opens up. You have a pin on the end here, and when it opens, this is called a large gang mold. This would be used to mass produce ammunition prior to a battle, prior to an engagement. The fact that it's made out of iron tells us that it is made in North America, probably by Americans after the start of the Revolution. Your ideal material for making a bullet mold would be brass or bronze. So once you've made your musket ball, like down here, you're getting ready to go on march, you're going to go to battle, you're going to do guard duty. To prepare for that, you're going to make what are called cartridges. Now, these predate self-contained cartridges like what you would find in firearms today. And what this is a musket ball in this end, and then it would be wrapped in paper, and then this would be powder. So you would have a self-contained, ready-to-go ammunition and powder. The powder has been taken out of this one. It's not archival, or it's not good for the archive, so we take it out for safety reasons. But this is actually an American-made Revolutionary War era cartridge, and it does have writing on here. This was made out of a letter or a receipt. Paper was hard to find during the Revolution, so they would use whatever they could. So you've made your cartridges, you have your powder ready to go, you're getting ready to go on duty. So how are you going to actually carry these into battle or guard duty? You're going to carry what's called a cartridge box, sometimes called a belly box. These would actually be worn around the waist. This has belt loops on it right here, so you wear it on the side of your hip. The British preferred to wear it right here in the front, that's why it's called a belly box. You can see inside it's actually got vertical tubes. So you would make your cartridges, these would go into these vertical tubes, so then when you are engaged in battle or you're on guard duty and you need to reload your firearm, you would pull out a single cartridge and you would bite the end off and you would load your firearm and you'd be ready to go. So that's the basic rundown of how you would prepare your ammunition during the American Revolution.